heart attack. Fast, fatal, heart impact. Past painful scars, in fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new submerged juice. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now, get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, Happy Halloween. Now, I do understand I just finished a Halloween special yesterday, technically. However, I do have a feeling that a creepy one-shot series, or at least minisode, is appropriate. Especially because I am feeling the Halloween spirit. Now then, with that being said, let us pick up somewhere in a forest, where Deku and his friends, they are here tonight. They've come here tonight because they wanted to spend some time out here. Deku, him and his friends, they came out here. And right now, they're all sitting around a campfire and telling stories. As we do currently have Deku's friend, well, Cole, who he does at least going to finish up his tale. And then the man turned, seeing that the person standing behind him was himself. It wasn't, well, him exactly, but somebody who was wearing his own face. As he himself is going to drop the knife and back away, tripping over the corpses. Now, Deku is going to start clapping, as everyone is going to mention how that actually was pretty creepy. And Deku, he does going to start talking, telling Cole about how that does seem like at least a pretty over-the-top story. Really? And what do you got, man? I feel like I got something better, but I'm not exactly too sure if I should tell it. Now, we do actually at least have the person sitting next to Deku, who they go to wrap themselves around Deku's right arm. And Deku, he does this somewhat turn and look to see Jamie. Right now, Jamie, she is wrapping herself around Deku's arm because she herself is terrified. And Deku just look down at her, as he does go to somewhat turn back and try to focus. Okay, shit. Alright. Calm down. It's just Jamie. Alright, so cool. I got a good story. Now, you do actually at least have Sadie, and then at least Dex, who both the two do talk about how they aren't exactly too sure. She thought that Cole's story was pretty stupid, and Dex, he does this stand up, talking about how all this beer has given him a gut full of piss, so he'll be right back. And Jade's just gonna somewhat turn and gonna punch him in the arm, saying that he's pretty damn blunt, isn't he? Oh, come on. Honesty's my best quality. Besides, I mean, would you rather me at least try and at least hide it? Besides, out here, I mean, there's not really a bathroom. Hell, there's not even cell service. Alright, I'll be right back, guys. Now, he was going to turn and walk away. As Deku, he just going to look around, looking back towards Cole, and ask him if he should start, or if he should try to hide, or they should try and fuck with Dex. Nah, man. Just start telling your story. I mean, what? He'll be confused when he comes back, but hey, that's the price he pays, right? Alright. Let's see. I got a pretty good one. Actually, it's a tale I heard about whenever I was a kid. Okay, now you got me interested. Is it that one about the guy with the hook? No, that one's made up. Okay. Actually, now that we're talking about it a bit more, and I got a few beers in me, I feel a bit more comfortable expressing this. There is a tale. My dad told me about it whenever he was out in America. So, let's at least go over it. My dad, he had a buddy he went hunting with. Somewhere, I want to say west or east coast. He's never really been specific about it. He just mentioned in America. I don't know. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Alright. My dad told me a story about how him and his buddy they used to go hunting. And when they went hunting, they always caught something. A rabbit, a deer, a buck, doesn't matter. However, the last time my dad went hunting, he never went back out there. It was years before he told me this story. So, let me at least tell you guys about it. Now, there my dad and his buddy were out there. They were already out there for 2 days, and things, they weren't right for hunting season. I mean, I mean, well, it was already sort of off. The season just began, and they hadn't been able to catch anything properly for a while. They were tracking footprints, and my dad talked about how they were hearing strange things. His buddy just seemed to be going a bit cuckoo, and it's understandable. However, there was the night they decided to hunt in pure darkness. His buddy had a night vision quirk, and my dad, he could see pretty good in the dark, especially whenever the moon lit it up. Whenever it lights up the night exactly like tonight, you can see almost anything. So, there my dad was out there, him and his buddy. Both the two, they were tracking something. His buddy, he thought it was a deer. However, my dad, he always says it wasn't a deer. Whatever they were hunting, they kept tracking it for hours and hours on end. However, they never found it. Sometimes my dad was concerned about it. He thought that they were always going in circles. And then there was, well, whenever they found it. My dad saw a deer out in the distance. Him and his buddy were both sitting there, and they were both just staring out for it. They were looking for it, and they saw it. My dad, he went to go aim for it. And his buddy, he got this strange feeling in his gut. He looked at it, and the way his face was, he didn't look comfortable. And before he can say a word, my dad, he aimed right down the sights and shot it. Now, everybody they do go to look towards Deku, as they do ask him what happened next, whenever Deku does go take a swig of his beer. And Deku, after going to bring up his left hand and wipe away his face, he does go look towards Jamie. As right now, she herself is actually pretty scared. And Deku, he does go to see that, as he does go to turn back to everybody and bring in his left hand. The bullet whizzed through the air, and then it hit the thing right there in the neck, and it fell over. However, my dad noticed something. The way its eyes were, it wasn't normal. And whenever he saw it, he looked towards his best friend. The shot rang out for miles. However, his friend, he looked like he just, well, witnessed something horrifying. And my dad didn't know anything about that, up until he looked back towards where the deer was. And that thing, it wasn't a deer. It was back up onto its feet, and my dad could see it. It was standing there like a person, with yellow orbs in its skull glowing. And my dad, he didn't know what to do. However, his friend started muttering something as he did just go to grab my dad and run. And my dad, he heard this horrible sound. And the way he described it, he said it could make the dead skin crawl. Now, both of them went running, and they just made a beeline for the truck. My dad told me that whenever they got out of there, his friend tried to explain what it was. However, his friend didn't have an explanation. He talked about these things. He always seemed to joke about them, and he never thought that they were real. However, that's not the most horrifying part. My dad said while he was staying over there in America, he always heard strange things. He always felt uncomfortable. And it wasn't until he came back to Japan did he actually feel like he was okay. However, will you guys think that that's where the story does end? My dad, he told me a bit more. My dad told me about how a few weeks later, his friend was murdered. Now, everybody is going to stare directly back at Deku, as Deku does continue on, expressing that there was a message left at the scene. However, his dad never really did decipher it. It was a smashed piece of metal, and from what he could tell, it may have been what his dad fired. Now, everybody, they do somewhat go to clap, and right now, Deku just goes somewhat lean backwards. As Jamie, she actually goes somewhat backward from Deku, and he does going to stand up, talking about how he himself actually is feeling like another beer. Now, Deku is going to turn and toss the empty beer down onto the ground, as he's going to turn and walk towards the car. Now, there actually is, whenever Cole, he himself does going to stand up, and he is going to follow Deku. As when both of them are directly behind the vehicle, you do actually where Deku, he does going to somewhat open up the trunk, as he's going to turn to Cole and talk about how his sister is pretty clingy. Oh, come on, man. You know she has a crush on you, right? I know, but Cole, dude, that's your twin sister, man. I mean, she's cute and she's hot and nerdy, but I'm not just gonna do that, man. Dude, she's had a thing for you ever since high school. And how long have we known each other? That's a fair point. But come on, dude. If I break her heart, you're gonna bash my teeth in. That's if you break her heart. Besides, I know you, man. Your last relationship was what? A few months back? And you and her were together since middle school. If you're gonna break my sister's heart, it's gonna be a few years from now, or she'll break yours more than likely. Besides, she may seem all nice and shy right now, but that's because you don't know a single thing about her. Come on, man. Give her a chance, and hey, maybe I'll be standing there next to you whenever the wedding happens. Maybe then you'll actually be my brother. Now, Deku just gonna somewhat laugh. And right now they're actually whenever both of them, they do go to slam the trunk, and Deku just go walking back over. As you do actually have where Deku just gonna look around the campfire. And Dex, he clearly hasn't come back. He was so engrossed with his story and about Jamie that he didn't even realize it. Him finally going to bring it up. As whenever Cold is going to sit down, Jade next to him, she was going to mention that Dex he called out earlier. However, he didn't really come back. Maybe the guy, he fell down somewhere, and he does need some assistance. I mean, hell, he brought out that pint, or at least that, flask of whiskey, and he had about half of it on the way here. She had to drive the truck. God damn it. Is he really that fucked up? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Dex does like to party hard. Now, Sadie herself is going to someone to speak up, talking about how Dex he can be a shit sometimes, but he is a good guy. And Deku he just doesn't roll his eyes. Him going to stand up and going to turn and bring his hands up to his face, shouting for Dex to get the hell back over here. And Dex will going to shout back. And Deku he does get to hear Dex talk about how he needs help. And he can't get out of this hole. Now, Deku he doesn't look directly towards Cole, ask him if he wants to help bring the drunk bastards back. And Cole he doesn't somewhat agree. As Deku, right now, him and Cole do go walking into the forest, and they do go to continue their conversation. As Deku he does talk about how if he is going to make a move on Jamie, then he'll do it on his own terms. Since right now a girl clinging to him while he tells a scary story, yeah. While that might be something certain guys are into, he'd rather ask her out on a date, especially not whenever she's clinging to him for dear life. Now, Deku, while he is walking, he does get to hear something in front of him, as Dex is going to shout out again that he's over here. Now, Deku and Cole do go walking around a tree, and the moment they do, Deku is immediately hit with a heavy scent of iron, as he is going to turn and look, as he can see that Dex, he's hanging from a tree. His body's in the shape of an X. He's being hanged by his ankles, and his gut, it's been sliced open. And he's missing his jaw and throat. Now, Cole, he does going to somewhat look directly at that, before turning and going to puke onto the ground. And Deku is going to bring his hands up to cover his face. However, he doesn't hold down the vomit. He does go somewhat slightly puke in his hand, and he does try to force the rest of it back down. As their actions over, Dex is going to somewhat scream out again. He's over here! And Deku would just look directly towards Cole. As Cole, he is going to look up towards Deku, and Deku is going to look down towards him. As Deku, he does going to somewhat shout out for Dex. Where is he? As the voice, it does seem to have moved. It was about, 50, 100 feet or so behind where Dex was. But now it sounds closer. And, well, now that they're thinking about it, it sounds less like him. Now, Deku is going to look directly towards Cole, as he is going to bend down and tell him that they need to get out of here. Are you fucking crazy, dude? What about Dex? I mean, he's alive, right? Okay, Cole, listen to me, man. This shit is exactly what my dad warned me about. Whatever is talking isn't Dex. It isn't him, man. Right now, that thing, that thing behind Dex, it's gonna kill us. My dad warned me about this shit. Okay, man. We can get out of here and we can call the cops. But right now, we need to get back to the cars. The moment we start them, I think we could be killed. I mean, it's got to make sense, right? My dad talked about it. Now, as Deku does go to look directly at Cole, he doesn't so much look back towards where Dex's voice was coming from, as Deku does going to see a yellow glow. And right now he does at least point out towards Cole. Look where Dex is. Now, Cole is going to look up, and he can see Dex right behind him, somewhere at least to the right of the tree. There is a yellow light peeking out. And right now, he himself is terrified. Deku mentioned a yellow light. And then there's no. That's not right. That is not right. Deku was telling a fucking story. Now, Deku, yeah, he is going to turn and start running. As whenever he does so, there actually is Cole, who right now, he does want to try and help his friend. As whenever he does start stepping forwards, he is going to at least hear Dex call out once again. And whenever Deku, he does going to start moving forwards and back towards the vehicles, you do actually notice him running up to the campfire. And the moment he does, both Sadie and Jade do going to look directly at him. As Deku is going to tell them That's if they have the keys right now, they need to get into the cars. What do you mean? Okay, okay. Listen, guys. There's something out there. It killed Dex. What are you talking about? That's not funny, man. Okay, listen, listen. Sadie, whatever is out there, it's like from what I talked about. The story. Fuck, that wasn't a fucking story. Jesus, my dad warned me about this type of shit. Oh, God. God damn it. Okay, Sadie, you have the keys, right? Yeah, I do. Why? We need to get the fuck out of here. Now, Sadie doesn't believe him. However, where there is a loud scream, there actually is where it does go to get cut off. As there actually is whenever Dex is going to call it once again. As Dex is going to start screaming out for them, they actually all hear that. And right now they do all go to look back towards Deku. And Deku, he is looking towards the forest. Before we're just going to turn back, he is going to run over to Jamie. Him bringing his hands up and telling her, does she have Cole's keys? Okay, calm down, Izuku. Do you have Cole's keys? Yes, I do. Listen, why? I made him give them to me. Okay, okay. Jamie, get in the car now. Izuku, this really isn't funny. This prank has gone too far. Jamie, for once in my fucking life, listen, I am not pranking you guys. Now, their actions whenever Cole is going to somewhat shout out, as his voice is closer to where they are. And Deku is going to turn. Now, Deku can see the yellow orbs floating there in the distance, as he has to look directly back towards Jamie. Okay, listen, please, Jamie, please. I'm not messing with you. Whatever is in that forest, it just killed Dex, and it just killed your brother. Now, Jamie, she is going to back away. Bring her hands up and pushing away from Deku, telling him to quit it. Now, you do actually have where Jade, she's going to somewhat talk about how she'll bite. Right now, if they're going to be fucking with him this intensely, after a story like that, then hey, they'll play along. She'll play along at least. Now, Jade is going to reach down, her grabbing a piece of the firewood that they haven't burned yet. Hurley is going to reach over towards the flask and going to open it up, before going to pour it onto the firewood and then going to light it up into the fire, before she's going to turn and start walking into the forest. Now, she's going to start walking away, expressing to Izuku how, oh no, the big bad monster will get her. It's going to get her. And right now she's expecting Dex to, as you actually wish she's going to somewhat turn her head, and directly going to stare at something in the distance, as both Sadie and Jamie do just stare directly at her. And right now, their actions whenever, well, Jade, she's just going to stare at it, before she's going to somewhat turn around her hearing something. Now, you do actually have what these three do get to see. As right now, Jade, something does come down directly onto her shoulder, as it does take a large bite into the back of her body. Now, when this does actually happen, she actually does get someone to bring her hands upwards and scream out, her throwing the handmade torch onto the ground and backwards over her shoulder. As a large creature, it can be seen. And right now, all of them at the campfire, they do freeze. As Deku, he also doesn't want to turn back towards Jamie. And Jamie right now, she's frozen. As there actually is whenever Deku, he does directly grab onto her, him dragging her over to the car, as there actually is Sadie. Sadie does go running back over to the truck, and she does go to jump inside and turn it over. As whenever Deku and Jamie do go to get into the vehicle, Jamie, she is currently driving. And right now, Deku, he does go to get inside the passenger seat. As there actually is where Sadie does go to drive directly out of the forest. And Deku and Jamie, they're shortly behind her. And right now, both of these three, they're all trying to get out. There was actually Sadie. She remembers exactly how bad and bumpy the road was on the way inside. However, she is not going to be dealing with that right now. Right now, she just saw something grab her friend and bite into her. It tore her limb from limb, and the screaming it stopped only after they started to drive away. And right now, that torch she dropped, it's sparking upwards into a bit more of a large fire. Now, there are actions where Jamie should have asked Deku what's going on, as she does actually feel the car hit against the ground over and over as they are going through dips in the road. And right now, Deku just tried to explain. He doesn't know what that is back there, or what it was. But whatever the fuck that thing is, it's the stuff of, well, nightmares and legend. He doesn't know too much about it, but right now, he knows one thing for sure. The city is 20 minutes away once they get to the highway. So when they get to the highway, put it pedal to the fucking metal. If they get stopped by a cop, they need to talk to them. They need to get into the city first. All the fucking better. Now, their actions while they are following the truck, you do have where suddenly does come running out of the forest and directly sprinting onto the path. As it does go to directly smash into the truck, and the truck does get pushed directly upwards and off the road. As whenever that does actually happen, Deku does look directly towards where the truck was. Before, whenever he does so much look back in towards where it was going, you did actually at least have the creature. It let out that piercing scream. The one Deku he didn't know how to describe. However, he knew the moment he heard it, the way his father talked about it. He knew this was the same creature. Now, when the creature did go to smash the truck directly against something, there actually was where they're going to turn back around and go to pursue the vehicle. This thing, it knows how many people were around. And right now, trying to add up how many it's taken, the numbers aren't accurate. And Deku and Jamie, they're currently driving. As whenever they do get onto a steadier road, Deku, he does at least bring his hands up, turning on the lights in the car as he is looking behind him. And he is looking to the sides. And Jamie, she is trying to keep this car steady. However, the tires, they're starting to lose a bit of traction on the dirt road. Well, some parts of it are muddy, some are more steady. And right now she is trying to think about what's going on. As Deku, whenever he does look behind him, he does go to see something in the distance. He can see it sprinting through the trees. And the way it's running like an animal. But that thing, it was huge. It was capable of taking out a truck. Jamie, step on it. I'm trying to get out of here fast, okay? But it isn't working, okay? We're losing traction. Now, Deku is trying to tell her that if they lose traction, then try to steady it back out. I'm trying, okay? Try harder. It's right behind us. Now, Deku, he does tell that to Jamie. As whenever they do get onto a bit more of the main road where it actually does have, well, proper gravel, there is where things are a bit easier. And it does start to form into a bit more of an old country-style road. Now, while they do hit more and more bumps, the creature does continue to attack them. And right now it actually does get close enough to directly grab onto and attack the vehicle. As Deku does hear and feel the car shake. This thing does directly dig its claws into the back of the trunk. And right now their actions whenever it does going to reach its hands upwards and directly going to slash into the back of the car. And Jamie just going to look directly into the rearview mirror. She makes eye contact with the devil. And right now she's going to freeze. As Deku, he does directly look towards Jamie before going to bring his hands up. Him reaching over and grabbing at the wheel. Him spinning it to the left before pulling it back over to the right. and Jamie actually is going to feel that. It snaps her out of her daze, as the vehicle does go swerving over into the other lane before swerving back. And right now this thing, while it did have a good grasp on exactly how fast to move, there actually was whenever it started to get a bit less balance. And while its claws were digging into the steel, there actually was where Deku is going to look backwards. And right now it is going to look directly down and into the back seat. Come on, where is it? Where is it? Now, Deku is going to reach for something. Him grabbing it before he is at least going to bring it up. It's an empty beer bottle. And right now Deku, he does at least jump over into the back seat. Him waiting. Come on, fuck, okay, there's gotta be something back here. Jamie, what? Where is the fucking bat he had back here? Okay, listen, it's gotta be back there, okay? Just keep looking. Now, Deku is gonna reach directly under the seat. And whenever he does, there actually the back window does get blasted open. And this thing actually is gonna reach out and directly dig its claws into Deku's shoulder. And Deku is gonna directly scream before pulling the bat outwards and directly going to at least smash it out forwards. Him hitting this thing directly in its face with one side of it, as the thing barely even budges. And right now Deku, he does go at least bring his hands upwards and go to pull the bat backwards. As whenever he does, there actually is where a pair of lights, they're going to start shining. And right now, this thing is directly look upwards before it is just going to disappear and into a puff of smoke. And whenever that does actually happen, there is whenever Deku and Jamie, they do go to at least look and see what happened. Right now, Jamie, she got onto the highway. And the moment she did, she beelined and swerved into the far lane, as her car smashed into the side of the highway, or the divider, before flying over onto the side. Now, we actually do have Deku, who, after this does happen, he doesn't wake up. And right now, he doesn't directly jump upwards off of his hospital bed. The moment he does, he is full of fear and panic. And right now, Deku, he doesn't even know what happened. As the moment Deku does at least reach upwards and going to start disconnecting a few of the things, a doctor is come running into his room along with a nurse. And Deku, he is trying to remember what happened. The doctor is trying to calm him down. As, right now, Deku is told that the police, they want to talk to him. Now, Deku, he is confused. However, there actually somebody does hear that Jamie, she did survive. However, right now, her condition isn't exactly in the best. Now, Deku, he does try to give his report to the police. And right now, after being discharged and being cleared of suspicion of murder, there is the fact that he does still have that uneasy feeling. He has the scars on his shoulder to prove what his dad was talking about was real. And that right now, nature is best left alone. Now, a few days would pass, and while Deku, he does still have nightmares of that night, they do start to somewhat get better. As we do actually have where Deku, while he is currently at home, he does get woken up by a knock on his door. And whenever he does go to walk out of his bedroom and go to walk over towards his front door, there is over the cops, they do get at least stand there, outside of Deku's apartment. As Deku, he is confused as to why they're there. And the police, they do try and question Deku as to the whereabouts of Jamie Ross. And Deku, he is confused, as he does hear that his friend, Jamie, she disappeared. She was discharged from the hospital last night. And police, they have not found her. Her mother was worried. Jamie called her last night, and she said that she felt uneasy. And whenever she was calmed down, her mother talked about how she does still feel that way later to call her. However, she never received that phone call. And whenever they went to her place, she was gone. It's as if the girl never existed. and they wanted to talk to Deku. Deku, he's the only person connected to Jimmy Ross and the people who died. And right now the police, they want to know if Deku has any information. And Deku, he's sitting there speechless. As right now that feeling in his gut, it does return. And Deku, he does feel it. The eyes of the devil are watching him. And the devil, he wants his due. Now, with that being said, happy Halloween, guys. And I do hope you enjoy the story. And be careful. The veil is thin tonight.